You're listening to the Public Health Entrepreneurs Podcast with your host, Dr. Charlotte Huntley. Greetings, everyone, and thank you for joining me on this episode. On this podcast, we explore all sorts of topics that are of interest for professionals at this intersection of public health and entrepreneurship. My name is Dr. Charlotte Huntley, and I'm really excited and grateful that you decided to join me on this episode. I'm a public health entrepreneur with well over 25 years of experience in healthcare and in public health, and I've supported many entrepreneurs along the way. I've also been podcasting since 2017. I love podcasting. It's a very powerful medium and platform to connect with your audience, share your thoughts on a niche topic, and it's a great way for me to share information with all of you on this topic of entrepreneurship and public health. So today, on this episode, we're going to focus on establishing thought leadership. We're continuing. I got a little series going on here, but on this particular episode, we're going to focus down on attracting clients through social media. So you can establishing your thought leadership is really sharing your comments, your feedback, your thoughts on a topic that basically filters it through your lens, your expertise, your view, your background. You get a chance to share on a topic through your perspective. And this is how you establish that thought leadership on a topic in a niche area, in a category. It naturally draws your clients, I'll say your network, the people that are interested in what you have to say. When you say something that resonates with them, it just attracts them to you. It helps you build a network and a community. And from that, you're often able to then convert that network or members of that community into clients. Sometimes your clients are out there curious or thinking about the same topic. And when you establish your perspective, they like what you have to say. At the very minimum, they'll start to follow you, connect with you a little bit. And then over a little bit of time of conversation and building up a little bit of trust and getting to know you better, that often leads to a sales conversation where they can become your client, which is an exciting process because then you get to know a little bit more about them and know that they're a great fit for how you like to show up and how you can help. And they are able to align with you and what you stand for. And they finally have someone can help them solve this problem that they've been wrestling with. So that sales conversation and that conversion process from audience member or a member of your network into a client is and should be a very exciting process. So that's what I mean by being able to attract your clients. Sometimes you attract them and they're really looking for that help right away that you provide, and they can be a quick conversion. But sometimes they come to your community and they just listen and follow you for a while before they're ready to take action. But the more you're establishing thought leadership in a variety of ways, you're connecting and attracting more and more of the right type of people your way that are interested in what you have to say and what you have to share. So it just keeps your audience very much, you're attracting the type of people that could potentially become a client. Okay. All right. So again, on this topic of attracting clients through social media, I say social media, but I am really talking about LinkedIn. If you've listened for any period of time, you know I'm a big advocate for LinkedIn. I also know that we as public health professionals, especially public health entrepreneurs, are not fully utilizing that space to our fullest potential. There's so much that we can gain from that platform. So I'm a huge advocate for us, meaning all public health entrepreneurs, really public health professionals, being present and up to date and taking action on that platform. So here are just a few tips for establishing thought leadership on LinkedIn and attracting clients to you. So there are actually two tips that I'm going to share, but the first tip, I'm going to do a deeper dive on it. So the first tip for you is make sure that your personal and business profile pages on LinkedIn are up to date and are optimized for that LinkedIn platform. If you need to pause and go back and write that down, this is very noteworthy because we want to work and operate on a platform the way that they want us to. So if we understand what they want us to do on that platform, we can best optimize it, meaning things are going to work in our favor. You hear people talking about the algorithm and trying to beat the algorithm. I don't like that language because I think if we understand the platform and what the purpose is and what the platform is best used for, and we can operate under those rules or those guidelines, then we're going to win. That platform is going to serve us very, very well. So let's do a little bit of a deeper dive into what I mean by optimizing your personal and business profile pages. On LinkedIn, before I dive into that, let me explain to you why I'm saying this. If you haven't had this experience yet on this platform, on LinkedIn, you've probably experienced it somewhere on some other social media platform. Also, what I'm sharing with you about LinkedIn, you could apply it to other platforms if you are primarily somewhere else. But when there's a post that has a lot of attention and activity, and it's a really good post, maybe they have a strong statement or something that you like, or maybe it's a little controversial, we often go straight to the comments to see what people have to say about it. And when someone has something really good to say in the comments on that topic, on the LinkedIn platform, people automatically go to check that person out. It's just a very automatic thing to do. You've probably done it without even thinking about it. If you see a post, let's use an example of diabetes, and you see a post from the American Diabetes Association, and whatever the post is, it's getting a lot of attention. It's a really good post, whatever they're saying. So you go to the comments and you're glancing through the comments, and someone makes a really strong statement that you really like, and it's getting a lot of attention. The natural thing for people to do is say, well, who is this person? And either hover over their name, they'll get a little bit of information there about them, but they may also go to that person's profile, take a look at that profile, see who that person is, where they work, what do they do. And at the very least, they may make a decision to connect with that person, to follow that person. And that's your goal. That's what you want. You want to engage, and you're just being yourself. You're not trying to remember what to say or you're just being yourself. You're representing what you do through your business or as an entrepreneur, what resonates for you, what framework you follow and the path you follow in terms of the audience or the population you're looking to connect with or the problem that you're aiming to solve or how you show up. So you're just being yourself. And when people are finding you in the comments and then following you, you are attracting more of the community and the people that are like you. They're your people. They like what you have to say. They're interested in you. And then you can start to get to know them. And like I said, it could lead to a sales conversation where they could become a client for you. Or, they may show up right away. Like this is exactly what they need in their client right off the bat. But the purpose here is this platform, if you're optimizing your profile, your personal and business profile pages, then when people, hover over your name, when you're making a comment that's getting attention, then they go to your profile, they get the answers. They want to know who you are. Then it's clear. Your profile is optimized. You're making it very clear. As opposed to when it's not optimized, then it's a missed opportunity. Because if they go to your profile and it's really not up to date, they can't follow, then they're just going to go back to where they're scrolling, whatever else they were doing. So this is what I mean by having it optimized and really being able to take advantage of that situation. So now I'll dive into what I mean by optimize. So here are a few things that you can do to make sure, at the very least, these are not the only things, but at the very minimal, I'm still focusing on LinkedIn, but you apply it to whatever platform you'd like. Make sure that your profile picture shows your face. We want to see your face. Who are you? Just as if we were passing each other in a conference, we're going to see your face and put a face to the name. So it doesn't need to have anyone else in the photo. So not, someone else next to you that you've cropped out. Like just get a photo that's just you, your face. If you don't have a professional headshot, then do the best you can with your mobile device because they all have great cameras. But get a really good profile photo that shows your face and smiling preferably. Make sure that you've got a background image. Now, there is a difference between your personal profile and your business profile. I'll touch on it briefly, but you can definitely explore this more specifically. This is one of the ways that we love to support our mastermind group members. We give them a lot of resources and much more specific guidance on really getting their pages optimized on LinkedIn. But I'll share as much as I can on this episode with you. So your personal profile is you, your name, and you personally, your background, your experience. It's all about you personally. And then in the experience section, it will list the places you've worked, your previous employer, your current and previous employers. Your business profile page is your business name, connected likely to your website if you have one, but the business name, what you do in the business, and some sort of call to action to either message you there on LinkedIn or send them to a form to fill out if they're interested in working with you. But it's about your business, the business name, what you serve, the problem you solve. So on your personal profile page, your personal page under the experience section, you want to connect your business as a current employer. So your business, whatever your title is with your business, and connect your business page so that business logo shows up in your personal profile section and it looks very complete. So that was kind of deep for those of you that are not that familiar with LinkedIn. It seems like a bit much, but if you were already on that platform, it may have provided a little bit of clarity between the business profile and the personal profile. So either way, both of those require a background image and a profile photo. So your personal profile page, you're going to have your face smiling. On your business page, you're likely going to have your logo as the profile image. The background photo or the background image should be something that represents your work, the cause that's important to you. Sometimes you can create a customized image to go for the background on either your personal or business page on LinkedIn. There are a lot of options for this, but you need a background image. Having it just blank is a missed opportunity. I think it adds a lot of personality and completeness when you have a background image. Personalized about section. So the section that says, right now it does say about. So on your personal profile, make sure you're completing that section. Let people know how you can help them. Sometimes I see people writing a lot about themselves. I do this and I love this and this is my favorite thing to do. And that's nice. But I think people are always looking for what's in it for me. So if you can frame it or phrase it in a way that lets people know that are scanning how you can help them, that's a better win, I think. Play around with that. Look at some other profiles and how they're written for profile pages that look to you to be optimized. If they have a lot of followers, they're pretty active and engaged. Look at how they have written their about section. I think that the about section should be written as a first person, not as a third person like you would in a bio, because it's still social media. Although it's a professional platform on LinkedIn, we're still trying to get to know each other. It's still social media. So writing in the first person, definitely, in my opinion, it's much more personalized and humanized, and you're connecting with folks as opposed to a bio that's written and it appears more like a glorified resume, and you want to try to avoid that. Okay, so make sure somewhere with the about section or somewhere in your profile, make sure that people know how to work with you, how to connect with you. That's important because if you're, like I said, that scenario where someone, maybe you make a comment and they're like, oh, this is fantastic. And then they click over and they check you out and look at your profile and they're thinking, oh, this is great. They need to know how to work with you, especially if they're ready to have that problem solved and they think, oh, I found somebody that can help me. Then you want to make sure that they know how to connect with you. And sometimes it's simple as saying, if you're interested, if you have questions, send me a direct message. Something as simple as that. It lets them know it's okay to do that. You're inviting them to do that. It could be a link to your website or it could be a form that you have. I'm going to also touch on the experience section. So sometimes people will choose to have every employer they've ever had listed in the experience section. Some people will pick and choose for like a period of time or what they think is relevant. I'm going to leave that to your discretion. But whatever you decide is relevant, make sure that that is up to date and complete. It should not flow like a resume, but you can certainly take from your resume or CV to complete that section, but just make sure that always think about the person that may be viewing this and make sure that it is a good experience for them. They understand it's not, like I said, it's not just a glorified resume. It should be something that helps them get to know you and about your background and your experience. Okay, I think I've covered enough about optimizing your profile. If you connect your business profile page, assuming you have one, if you connect that, just make sure that reader knows about the problem that you solve and how you can work with them, how they can work with you. Okay, so that's a deep dive on my first tip, which is simply make sure that your personal and business profile pages are up to date and optimized for the LinkedIn platform or whatever platform if you are using something different than LinkedIn. Then my next tip for you is to engage with relevant posts, adding value in the comments of that post, and also engage with others in the comments who are also adding valuable responses. In other words, have a conversation in the comments of a really good post, but make sure that it's relevant to helping people to understand who you are and aligned with what you do. For example, if I stick with what I mentioned earlier about diabetes, maybe you help solve a problem of diabetes in a specific population and you serve maybe nonprofit organizations that serve communities of folks that have a higher rate or prevalence of diabetes. Just follow along with the diabetes example so you can grab all of what I'm saying. So I would encourage you to engage in conversations on LinkedIn. So these posts that are on LinkedIn that are relevant to either diabetes or the population that you tend to target who have diabetes, or the region or area that you serve of people who have diabetes, or something complementary where you can add value. So there's often a comorbidity of high blood pressure or obesity or overweight or some other conditions that, cholesterol, that kind of chronic conditions that tend to go with diabetes. Engaging in those kind of conversations are a really good move for you, a power move, because if someone is posting or commenting around high blood pressure, then it's likely they're going to be interested in this diabetes focus that you have and how you serve. Or even, I'll add something like COVID, for example. If you remember in the earlier part of the pandemic, there was so much conversation about the people who had diabetes and the complications. So if you're serving and you're providing a service to people or organizations who serve people with diabetes, then during that time, that would be very much the kind of post you want to show up on, anything related to COVID or COVID in the community, right? As opposed to maybe, I'm just going to pick something as opposite as I can think of, maybe gardening. Well, I can even bring a connection there to diabetes, but maybe something that is really off topic, so to speak, but maybe you like that topic and you think it's fun and interesting and something that you like. Every time I think of an example, I can connect it to diabetes. So I'm having a hard time giving you an example that doesn't connect to diabetes. But what I'm trying to say is you want to steer away from conversations that are not, even though they may be important and interesting and relevant, if you can't connect it to some thought leadership, then maybe you want to steer away from those in the beginning as you're trying to build community. After you really establish a community, then maybe you decide on 2 or 3 pillars that you will engage in conversation around that are diabetes, and then maybe 2 other topics that are closely related, and you kind of stay on point and on topic for those. That's how you can establish thought leadership and really start to attract the right attention. Because as you comment, again, people are going to check you out, go to your profile. It's going to be all optimized. They'll get all this information and learn about you, get to know you a little bit. And at the very least, they're going to decide to follow you. That would be such a win. They may decide to connect and actually send you a message and say, I like what you said about blah, 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 and start a conversation in the direct messages. That would be awesome. And then also they may come to you and say, how can we jump on a call? Because my company is looking to find some consultant that can help us with this exact thing. And I really liked what you had to say. Can we meet and discuss? I mean, that would be wonderful, right? And it does happen. It really does happen. But my point is, if your energy is spent in this kind of target area, then you increase your chances of being able to attract clients, especially LinkedIn, especially if you keep your profiles optimized and up to date. All right. We have, as I mentioned earlier, we have an awesome mastermind group program. We go really into a lot of deep dive conversations and guidance and strategies for LinkedIn in that mastermind program. It's that important. Our program is best suited for established entrepreneurs where we work together online and also we gather together in person for a 2-day retreat. We do this twice a year. We've had entrepreneurs come from all over the US and other countries as well, like the UK and Guam, to attend our in-person retreats. Now, enrollment is only open twice a year. That's in June and December, and only to people who have submitted an application. So if you would like to know more about our mastermind group program, then please visit our website and submit an application at publichealthentrepreneurs.com. You'll find links in the description of this episode as well. I hope this has been helpful for you in getting involved in LinkedIn a little more actively and attracting those potential clients your way. And it's certainly attracting that more niche network to you. All right, everyone. Until next time, have a fantastic rest of your day. Thank you for listening. Visit publichealthentrepreneurs.com to learn more.